ES E-mini futures 2000 tick chart, and we're using price action rules and market geometry to determine where to enter for high probability setups. So as you can see, we're starting this morning off with a pretty decent uptrend working higher. I came in the market around this area here. We have the second entry short to test new low of this short-term downtrend. But as you can see, we have these two bull pin bars right here, right above EMA. This downtrend does need to create new low, but I just don't like to see such strong bull pressure above EMA before the second entry short forms. It's above EMA, it's right at market open, and you can even make a case for a short-term uptrend, something like this, to be drawn. And I just don't like to go short when that's still in play. It ended up working, but we can't trade hindsight, right? You got to follow your rules when the setups are forming real time, live right in front of you. So got to be patient in that situation. Now we did have a second entry short here, but it was after new low was already created. So you're not even looking for trades in this area. Once I saw us bounce here off of this double bottom and we made this strong spike up, push above EMA, broke below EMA for a second and then pushed back above, that's when I started to look for this wider uptrend. It's looking pretty decent. Still pretty early in the morning to determine whether or not this is going to be the overall, structure for the day. But it's a good start. It's starting to look pretty good. I want to see how far this pullback pulls in. Probably draw something like this to know when this pullback is over. I want to see this channel get break, push a new low, and then look for an opportunity to catch a new push phase, right? So a failed second entry short above EMA. That's pretty much it. You don't really want to take a second entry long off of this key entry point because it's not quite confirmed yet. You want to see these trend lines get confirmed about 3 times before you can consider it a key entry point. You really want the trend to be established if you're going to be trading just off of the trend lines. So if we do bounce off of this, I definitely want to see a push above EMA and some kind of setup confirming that we're going to continue to work higher. So let's see. All right, guys, we created new low now for this downtrend, so that shows that the pullback is played out. Now I want to see a push above EMA and a failed second entry short to continue this push phase. Alright, so it played out with break, new low. Now we're back above EMA, so no failed second entry short, unfortunately. But now that we're back above EMA, this uptrend needs a new high, and it's the start of a new push phase for this wider uptrend. So I'm hoping for some kind of second entry long at the EMA. Let's see. Alright, guys, we had a second entry long. As you can see, we have new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long as soon as it triggered above this bear doji right here. Fortunately, we can't go long above that bar. It just doesn't really show any bullish momentum, so I'm hoping for some kind of higher low. Alright, higher low formed, but it's super far away from the EMA. The wick isn't even touching the EMA, so unfortunately can't enter this one either. And it looks like that might be our last opportunity. It might form a second entry long here, but it's kind of getting sideways. You really got to ask yourself why none of these trades are making the push phase themselves, and it just keeps forming setups, so got to be patient here. We'll see if this push phase wants to continue. This wider uptrend is pretty confirmed at this point. You can see every time we break below EMA, we push back above and continue to work higher. So I'm liking the overall bias. Just unfortunately haven't gotten any really decent setups yet. This is technically a failed second entry short as well. New low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, failure. But it's just too far away from the EMA. Alright, we have a second entry long. You can see new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long when it broke above this bear pin bar right here. And then it formed this secondary bar. Now you can enter this on a second double bar entry, but I'm just not a huge fan of it. You can see we're kind of consolidating sideways. We are staying above EMA, but I don't know. Just all the experience I have in trading, it's best to just stay away from areas like this. It can go either direction. Alright, guys, you can see we failed over and over to push higher, and it looks like the market's about to roll over. Now, as you have a little bit more experience in your trading and you start to watch a lot of these channels, you'll start to recognize this kind of area here. There's a good chance that we break outside of this channel, pretty far. If not far, then at least a little bit. You can see it's failing to go higher, and it's starting to roll over. We're staying below EMA a little bit longer. You can even draw some kind of trading range, something like this. It doesn't fit too well. But it helps to have it there because we have to account for all the price action on the chart, right? Every single one of these bars has a channel that it's supposed to fit into. You can have this one here with break and new high, as you can see. And then we have something kind of like this maybe. So after new high, that's when you want to start looking for the, reversal trend. So this one broke, create a new extreme, and from that new extreme, that's where you want to draw your downtrend. It looks like we just created a new low for that one as well. So I'm gonna just be following this small trading range here. If we break out, there's a good chance that it fails, like 90% of the time. So we'll see what happens if we do break out of this trading range, what side it'll break out of. Now, if we are to break out of the top, there's a good chance that we continue higher because we traded up into this trading range. And it's often in these wider trends like this that the correction phase is just sideways like this. It's not a clear pullback like this one, right? It sometimes just goes sideways and then continues its push phase up. So you never want to fade a breakout without any key entry point. Like if you just get a second entry short breakout pattern, you don't want to just enter on that just because it's a failed breakout, especially if we break out of the top side here, because like I said, we broke out of we traded up into this. So looks like we're breaking out of the bottom now. Now we know that most breakouts fail. It's important to watch this area and see what the market's going to do and make sure that we're on the right side of the market here. All right, we continue to go higher. Now, often when you see a breakout of the bottom of a range like this, it'll often break out, fail, and end up breaking out of the other side. And this is what I was talking about earlier. When you trade up into a trading range, there's a good chance when you break out of the top of it, it's going to continue higher after that breakout, especially after a failed breakout of the bottom. Often after a failed breakout, it'll break out the other side and then continue in that direction. So looks like we're going to continue working higher here. Technically, this is new high for this uptrend after the break here of this wider uptrend. It created new high, but it continues to work higher. I'm thinking there's some kind of wider channel, but we just don't have enough confirmed price action to determine what that channel is. So I'm just sitting on my hands, waiting for a little bit more confirmation, and then we can look to draw something wider. Let's see what happens. All right, I went ahead and widened the uptrend. You can see we're continually working higher all day today. But the thing about it is we're in a very, very slow uptrend. So it is working higher, but very slowly. The ATR is at 2 now. So the market's really starting to slow down. And I haven't seen any good opportunities to enter a long trade here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my break and come back in about an hour and we'll see where the market's gone. All right, guys. So I just came back from my break. We had this second entry long here. It did not trigger, but I just wanted to talk about it really quick. So we reset the count here, new high. The first entry long because it broke above this bear bar here. Pull back when it broke below this bear bar. And then second entry long if it were to trigger above this bull bar right here. And that's a second entry long. Now originally I had just this drawn, small support drawn here. You can see multiple bounces off of the top. But you can see the market's really struggling to go higher, even though we're in a wider uptrend. This is supposed to be like this. Let's see. Something like that. But you can see the market's really struggling to go higher. It just feels like we're consolidating. So I just went ahead and drew a small trading range here. You can see that second entry long formed right at the top. It is above EMA. And there's a chance for a, let's see, something like this potentially. As you can see, there's not too many confirmations off of the top. I mean, you can draw it like this and there's a potential overshoot. And if there's overshoot here, then you don't want to be really taking a long until it breaks out the other side of this trading range or this channel. And if you draw it wider, there's a lot of empty room at the top. Not a huge fan of it. It's really hard to find anything that really works well here. So I'm just sticking with the short-term price action, just drawing my short-term channels. You can see like stuff like this. This one failed to break a new low. You can see it had multiple attempts to break and create a new low lower than this low inside of this channel while it was still active, and didn't create it. So it's just kind of confusing price action. I'm really not looking for any trades right now, even though we're in a strong bull uptrend, or not a strong one, just a bull uptrend that kind of, is pretty slow. Even though we're in a bullish bias, I'm not really looking for trades right now just because the market's consolidating and then acting like it wants to go higher, but then once it attempts to go higher, it doesn't really go that much higher. It's just kind of confusing area here. So definitely important that you sit on your hands. You want the bias and structure to be clear and clean, and the prices to really be looking like they want to move in your direction for you to consider entering anything. And we just don't have that here. So gonna just continue waiting. We'll see what this market wants to do. If it wants to continue higher, there is a chance that spiking channel is there, this one here, and that does need to attempt new high now that we broke outside of it. So I'm going to be watching price action, and if it looks like it wants to push above EMA and test a new high, then I can consider drawing that. But for now, I'm just going to keep this small consolidation. Let's see. All right, guys, it's really gotten slow here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Overall, pretty decent price action today. You can see overall pretty decent. Wide uptrend, real slow going up, and the corrections are massive. You can see we get a massive correction before we have a touch of a key entry point or something like that leads to a push phase. Pretty decent. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I have a Discord community where I live screen share my chart every day, and we talk about the price action, where we think the prices are going. Feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be uploading my live charting sessions every day. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck with your trading.